To another commentary done by Diggity. This is K-League Finals Game 4. Upper right-hand corner we got Game 4, is that right? Yes, Game 4. Upper right-hand corner we got Range starting as the yellow Protoss, got that right this time. Bottom left-hand corner we got Nomad starting as the blue Protoss. This is on Retro. Just a fun map. If you guys are like, which one is that again? It is that one. That one. Should be a good one. Nomad misreading the situation previous game. It is now 1-3 in his tournament life, or sorry, 1-2. Yeah, 1 game versus 2, and his tournament life is online because the first 1-3 ends up winning and earns the tickets. Basically, cost of, I believe it's cost of travel and tickets to a LAN this summer. So there is considerable amounts of money on the line. Could be just tickets. I'm not, and don't quote me on that. Hopefully, when the winner's like, "Hey, he said this," maybe I can contribute to the effort. Anyway, like I snafu'd, and maybe that was too much, but anyway, point being there's money on the line is what's happening here. I will be actually excited to see either of these guys at any LAN this summer because ranged, you saw Urbmon and Range in the Haas League finals. Urbmon was my dark horse at what was the previous LAN at the StarCon, and I feel like Urbmon put up really, really good games. He had, in particularly, the very good game versus Nesh, who's a top tier player, and gave Artosis some good fights, and those are really amazing games. And I feel like Range is another guy that could produce some really, really fun games. So those are, hopefully, if there's a follow-up, you'll see both of them at that event, and that could be, and actually if we see a Hostile League Finals rematch, that could be epic. Looks like Ranged this time going for the 2-gate opener. A little bit closer spawns here on Retro. It looks like we have the assimilator gate opener on the opposite side from Nomad. We'll see if he goes for the Zealot first or just presses straight on to the cybernetics core. He's got the resources for the cybernetics core, drops the cybernetics core first. It is cross positions, however, so it's not all of is lost here. Range checking bottom right hand first is going to find absolutely nothing. Nomad, I think he's going to be able to scout this initially. We'll have to see. It could be if the Zealot just starts walking out on the map, that will could be disastrous. So you do have a follow-up Zealot being produced in the background. Cybernetics core just about finished. The Zealot going to hold the ramp, and Range has actually done a pretty good job of blocking out workers here. Interesting little detour across the 6 o'clock right there. So worker moving up there from Nomad. He knows at least that there's a Zealot in position, and let's see if Range shows the 2 additional Zealots here. Never mind. Nomad able to just sneak right on by, sees the full 3 Zealots. So not the best blockade, and now we're going to see that, yeah, Range sees it on the opposite end. He did drop the assimilator behind it, so this isn't an exitable situation. It looks like he's not building 2 additional Zealots behind this. Is dropping a cybernetics core to follow. So we'll see how much he can get done. A second gateway dropped immediately. This is at cross position. This probe is also taking a significant amount of damage, which is very important in these early battles, and it looks like it is going to be completely pulled out of this initial fight. A little bit of damage from, and trying to keep track of that probe, because trying to deny proxy pylons in the opposite end, because that can be a frustration. Looks like that probe taken out in the mineral lines. And now let's see if Ranged, is he just going to hold the Zealots back, or is he going to go for it? So grouping up, the Zealot going on the low ground actually opened up a pocket to just go ahead and walk on by. So the Zealots, that was not the best micro from Nomad. So the Zealot's actually able to get in. We got 2 Dragoons now, but this is a free attack lane to the workers here. So gas getting pulled off of. The Zealot's doing a good job of moving away from the best location to go for the probe drill. Great probe drill regardless. So Nomad able to disrupt what would have been a lot more damage, but still fewer workers from Nomad in the midst of the chaos. And it looks like he had to DQ a Dragoon, build it at the second gateway, so actually down a significant amount of workers as far as the follow-up. He's got 3 Zealots and a Dragoon, and it's kind of the same situation from the previous, what was it, game 2, except the situation's flipped, where if he tries to engage at cross positions, there's already 2 Dragoons on the front and 2 more going to be produced, and he'll be at a deficit walking. He will have the range advantage, potentially down the line, but it's not enough unless you're just trying to delay the natural expansion just a bit. So once the 2 additional Dragoons are out, this is more or less going to be neutralized, and Nomad's going to have to be careful that he doesn't, especially across position, he's going to have to be careful that he doesn't end up losing. So there's the first free shot just sweeping in, making sure natural expansion wasn't grabbed right behind this. He is moving the Zealot to maybe press into this. Range making his way down, recognizing he had the early shot, just ignoring the Zealot initially. Now doing walking shots. The Zealot saying, hey, this is a free walk into your base. The missed shot's actually working against Range here, so at least going to be able to scout that there were 2 gates behind this. But Range now going to go ahead and control the low ground. Already a natural expansion being built from Nomad. Is Range going to get feisty? Some defensive pylons just in case there's a robotics follow-up. But after killing that Dragoon, Range starting to march across the map. And it is, so it's 2 gate versus 2 gate. There is this natural expansion up a little bit earlier, quite a bit earlier. And a significant supply lead from Ranged, but a good amount of that is also in workers, keep in mind. So 3 Dragoons pocketed back, 1 defending the ramp, 1 on the high ground that could participate in this fight. So it's 6 overall versus 6 on the opposite end, with 1 of them low on shield and with some base damage. But Range going to go ahead and walk into this. Maybe he just wanted to confirm that there was the Nexus here, but now that the 3 Dragoons on Nomad's ramp not participating in the fight, that's allowing these Dragoons to get good trades. A little bit of an attack from distance, so a couple Dragoons getting taken out. The Nexus does act as kind of a natural pylon in the midst of this, but Range making the best of what was honestly should have been a bad situation. Going to end up losing and eating some base damage on the additional Dragoons. Now Nomad 5 versus 2. As far as the walk around, it looks like we have 2 Zealots sitting mid-map just in case Nomad overcommits. Range now going to back up since he doesn't have vision. And this is going to be a late Nexus follow-up potentially here for Range. So big, although Ranged with a massive worker spike behind this, also going for shuttle robotics to follow it up. Ooh, losing 2 additional Dragoons mid-map. Nice catch there by Nomad. And actually that might be game right here. As Nomad starting to careen in towards that natural expansion, I don't think this is defendable for Ranged. He's just going to go have to cancel this with what he's got on the ground. Loses a probe, and that Nexus is going to get wiped. He's going to maybe try to hold it till the last second, maybe to buy himself some time to not get taken out. Never mind. Yeah, Nexus is lost. I believe that was a loss. I don't think that was canceled last second. So tit for tat trades overall, and now the pressure on this Reaver is immense. Hasn't even been born yet, and his daddy's like, man, I need you to do great things for me, kiddo. You need to go out there and you need to devour, absolutely devour some of these probes. If you don't, you're dead to the family, and we're dead as a family. Talk about expectations. Just unreasonable, Ranged. Unreasonable. We'll see how it plays out. We have Citadel of Adun, Observatory, 4th gateway now from Nomad. Nomad has caught up in the overall worker count, but with the better worker distribution, he'll be in a very comfortable position. Ranged, spreading out as though he wants to hide and hold the Nexus line, dropping a forward pylon. And now that shuttle moving out, is he going to scoop up a Dragoon along with it? Looks like he's going to wait on that second Reaver first. There's also a potential play here where rather than Zealot leg speed, which is what I'm expecting Nomad to go for here, he drops the Templar Archives and actually goes for a Dark Templar play, which another shuttle Dark Templar play, which he's done several times here. It looks like the Templar Archives is dropping, so there is the possibility of that. He's got to know that it's Reaver play or nothing, or Dark Templar drop or nothing as far as the follow-up. He's already got observers floating out here. The Observer haven't gotten across the map to go ahead and provide detection, though, and there's plenty of Dragoons for Nomad to defend both locations. Range now moving out with this army. He's got to micro his way out of this, is what it comes down to. It's kind of the foldback, and unfortunately, it looks like the path of the Observer is going to move right. Okay, he saw the shimmer of it, so he's showing the shuttle, trying to spread some troops out, but Nomad not falling for it for a second, chasing that all the way across, and now might end up with, so Range playing himself a little bit here by splitting that army up. So Nomad moving out on the map and now trying to chase that shuttle down, forcing Range to unload. Looks like some Range making the best of it, though, able to drop and get initial troops taken care of. But now he's fighting uphill, and more metaphorically than in reality. I know this is a map with a ramp, but Range getting pretty decent play out of that exchange, and that wasn't even the full brunt of his army. So still has the shuttles, might be able to scoop back up. Psystorm being researched, and we also have a Dark Templar being produced, and that Dark Templar without detection on the opposite side will end anything that Ranged is hoping to accomplish. It looks like the Reaver's going to survive. Ranged actually carving up this attack very, very well. It looks like we do have the Dragoons that are split off. They want to try to assassinate that shuttle from the back, waiting to see if the shuttle moves this direction. Unfortunately, it's not. The Observer going to see it making its way across. The Dark Templar now on the front. So that Dark Templar will end nearly everything, unless Range does the absolutely insane play and targets his own Reavers with this. Nomad backing out. So the rest of this getting cleaned up by the Dark Templar, trying to micro these Reavers as best he can. The workers have flooded. Yeah, Nomad not even giving an opportunity to shot, knowing that he can clean this up with the Dark Templar on the low ground. So good play there. Range still moving troops forward, but that Dark Templar still doing work. Heroes, more Dark Templar being produced. The natural expansion emptied right this second, so that'll give a little bit of catch-up time there for Range, but with the shuttle down, so the shuttle lost, and Dark Templar still out in the field, and Dragoon's going to go ahead and blockade behind this. Things not looking for Range, and it looks like he had a bad rally out in open field, so Ranged on the hunt now, or sorry, Nomad on the hunt, attacking towards the natural expansion. There's still, is there detection? I see no detection. We got two Reavers holding here. Do you have the observatory even? Okay, we do have the observatory up. There's the first observer trying to make its way down. That at least will allow that natural expansion to hold. But Range crawling back. Somehow he still has an army lead. Maybe with the Reavers? Observer getting picked off. He's down workers. And map control definitely in Nomad's favor if he wants to go ahead and grab that 6 o'clock base. Big tech lead, I would say, as far as High Templar potential with Nomad. Nomad also going to get that Zealot leg speed up a lot earlier. But Range not where I thought after that exchange he would be completely out of this match. He's actually in an okay position. He delayed a lot of mining. He didn't get a lot of kills as far as workers here at the natural, but he's within 3 workers right now. We already have 6 gateways down versus 4, so production advantage still in Nomad's favor. Also, +1 weapon's going to be a little bit earlier. This main, actually, because of the worker saturation, is going to mine out a lot earlier. So Range still in a situation where it needs to press forward. Dark Templar looking at the 12 o'clock location. Looks like we do have a probe there at the 3 o'clock location. Range wanting to get another engagement, potentially. It looks like Nomad maybe wanting to expand to the 9 o'clock in the midst of this. Supply counts are somehow even. But Zealot leg speed advantage for Nomad. He's down on Reavers, however, and he also has High Templar, and the High Templar being able to blanket those Reavers and Psystorm will be the difference. Basically, the protection of the High Templar and the Psystorm will be the difference in this fight for Nomad, but he needs to hit those Reavers, and that shuttle needs to blanket it. Initial hit, huge. One Reaver practically dead already. One actually down with that. It looks like the High Templar, and also might... Do we have a turnaround? Looks like the second Psystorm not there, but ranged attack getting cleaned up. The Reaver trying to do damage to that cannon on the low ground. The Reaver a little bit too far exposed, so it's going to get cleaned up, and now Nomad has an easy hold. With that defensive cannon, he's up, range somehow up in supply, doing a good job macroing behind this. But Nomad, in a good situation, honestly, should just start moving forward and picking off these troops. Okay, now doing so. Another Psystorm behind this. Morphing an Archon. Range going to GG. What's crazy is he's GGing because Nomad probably could take that 9 o'clock. There wasn't a lot he could do about it, but Range actually wasn't in a terrible position. He was grabbing that 3 o'clock. Wasn't that far behind, and he was actually ahead in workers overall. But better production, though, from Nomad as long as he kept the macro cycles going. The problem for, I think, for Ranged here was this. His main was going to mine out because of the oversaturation at earlier stages. Anyway, series tied up. We're going to a final match here. Whoever wins it wins the whole kit and caboodle. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.